Hello, different video this time, no scouting report. Instead of I'm gonna try to project the lineup for the next season. Without losing any further time, bang! This is the starting lineup I will start the year with, and I'm gonna break down all line and explain why I think it's a good fit. And as you can see, if you look quickly, there's no sexy young rookie like Paling, Suzuki, Jolson. I'm gonna explain why I have left all those young kids out. I have not included Fleury or Josh Brook. Let's start with the first line, and this year the good thing is we won't have to search that much for the first line. It's pretty easy. They played most of the year together last year, so we have a huge sample on them, and they were amazing. I might do a video in the future explaining how good they were, but basically they were one of the top line in the league. Dano was incredible defensively. Gallagher is a shooting machine, and I was pretty impressed with Tatar. He had a kind of a breakout season last year, and he was very good all around. Even defensively, I was impressed with him. But all around this line, possession-wise, they were incredible. Also, I would like to add Philip Dano. He spoke in the media wanting to play more power play time, and it's sad because he's so good defensively. And he's so good at 5-on-5, penalty killing. I mean, you cannot play him at 25 minutes a game. It's sad because he's just too good defensively. We cannot really play him that much on the power play, even though he could do a good job technically. And last thing with that line, so how are we going to use those three guys? It's pretty easy. Every time you play against the other team top line, you try to match this line and play them against the other team best line, and this is what they did most of the year last year. Okay, let's jump on the second line, and this one is a lot more trickier. And let's start with Max Domi. So Domi, he had a breakout season last year. He's so fast and he's such a good playmaker that I think playing at center is really the best position for him, because it's easier for him to speed through the neutral zone, and he's able to display his passing ability, his vision. So I think I would not put him on the wing, even though he's not the best face-off man. I will keep him center. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I wouldn't want to risk him having a bad year on the wing. Just keep him center. So call me a little bit more old school on this one, but I'm not moving my best player unless he gives me a really good reason to move him. Now let's move to Jonathan Drouin, and this is where it's get really tricky. So if you're into advanced stat like I am, it was pretty easy to notice that Drouin was a big problem. Every time they tried to play him with the Dano and Gallagher, two very solid player, and he dragged them down. So that line, instead of being elite, was like average. They played him with other guy. Like every time they switch him to another line, that line drop in terms of advanced stat rating. So he's a problem. The good thing though with him is he's generating quite a bit of scoring chance, but he's also giving a ton. And it's the same for Max Domi. Both of them are really good at creating offense, but they also really good at giving scoring chances. So those guys are a risky player for me. They are high event player. So you absolutely need to put a very solid defensive player with them. So for me, if I think very solid defensive player, I have Byron in mind or Lekonen. So one of those two players could play with Drouin and Max Domi to compensate their lack of defensive game. If we look at Paul Byron profile, the last 3 seasons he played in Montreal, 22 goal, 20 goal, and 15, but he was hurt last year, so he probably would have gotten 20 goal again. And this is a player that's playing mostly on the third line, fourth line, and not that much power play time. So 20 goal in the past 3 seasons is a lot for him, and he's also extremely fast. So if we look together, Drouin, Domi, and Byron, they are all extremely fast player, and I think they could be a problem for the other team to defend. The problem I have with that line though, they are not very big, and Drouin doesn't like to shoot that much. Domi either, so mainly Byron would be the guy, the sniper on that line, because both of them are more of a playmaker. Also, Drouin doesn't like to go to the net that often, and one of the reasons why that line was good last year, it was because Shaw was doing an incredible job in front of the net. So if they want to be successful, those three guys would need to rush the net a lot more often than they were doing last year, because I don't think Byron is going to have that much of a physical presence in front of the net. Now the third line, I just love having all the three Finnish guys together. I think they had a pretty good chemistry last year. They also had very solid advanced stat in terms of Corsi at 5-on-5. They were very solid. They did not give a lot of scoring chances. So this could be a sneaky shutdown line at 5-on-5, and Kotkaniemi could also play on the power play. All three guys, they could even get the second power play opportunity. So this gives a very solid balanced lineup, I think. So all three lines could score. Now in terms of the fourth line, I like what Jordan Will did last year. I was really impressed also with his face-off percentage. I didn't know he was that good on the face-off. I think he had 56%, so he was better than Thompson on the face-off, and in my mind, he's a better player than Thompson. So this is why I had Jordan Will at center. Nick Cousin could also play some center duty, but this is my fourth line. So I have Charles Hudon. I still think he's an NHL player, even though he had a bad season last year. One more thing on Charles Hudon. I'm not ready to quit on him yet. And I think if we put him through the waiver, he's going to get picked, but one team's going to pick him, and I'm not ready yet to quit. He had a bad season last year, but it was a pretty small sample, and he was also in and out of the lineup. The bad thing, though, is that he was pretty slow last year, and I didn't know why he lost a step, but this year in training camp, he seems to be a lot faster, and he's very intense. So if he keeps playing this way, he has a spot on my team any day. Now let's move to the defense. So it's pretty simple what I had in mind. I wanted to put someone that's fast, like Victor Mete, with someone that's a little bit slower. So Mete is fast, Weber is a bit slower, Petrie is very mobile, Chariot is not, and Follin is pretty slow too. And Kulak is a pretty smooth skater. I think Kulak is better than Chariot, but I like putting him with Follin just to increase that pairing overall. So this is how I would start the year. One thing that we could try during the year is also trying Kulak with Weber and Mete with Follin. And I guess I'm going to touch why I don't have Brook or Fleury or Jolson. So I think I would rather have those guys playing in the AHL. This year, it's going to be a pretty good year for the Rocket. I want them to be stacked. I already bought my AHL subscription. I'm ready to watch some games. And I think it's about time that we load up on the AHL team and we build a very solid group of young players. Now let's talk about the big prospect at offense, Nick Suzuki and Ryan Poehling. The first thing I noticed, the top 9 this year is extremely solid, and I honestly don't think there's much room for Poehling or Suzuki. I think those two players are better at center, and if we're currently looking the three guy, Dano, Domi, and Kotkaniemi, I wouldn't move Domi. Like I said earlier, so Poehling and Suzuki are not better than those three. Therefore, I don't want having them playing center on the fourth line. And on the wing, it would be tricky. You could play Poehling, I guess, instead of Lekonen. Or you could try Suzuki instead of Byron. But the thing is, if we do that, we're going to have to either trade someone or put someone through the waiver or risk losing them. I just think it's going to be much easier to send the two kids in Laval. They don't have to go through the waiver like other player. So you're not losing anyone. You don't have to do any trade. And they're going to have top minute in Laval, power play unit. They're going to be like a 5 or 6 really solid prospects that are going to be able to build a strong chemistry together. And during the year, you just move up the better player, one that is the hottest at the time. You give him a shot, a few games in the NHL, and who knows, maybe he's going to stick to the NHL during the year. Anyway, this is going to be it for this video. I'm just so happy the hockey is back. I can wait for the real season to start. For the next video, I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do. I might try to do a scouting report on Ryan Poehling. I have a lot of clip on him, or maybe Caden Primo. I'm not sure how a scouting report on a goalie is gonna turn out, but I might try to do some because I have a few clip on Caden Primo already.